We're back with an ABC Action News exclusive. For the first time since the pandemic began, we are on the front lines with doctors and nurses as they treat COVID-19 patients.
This as Florida continues its troubling trend as a global hotspot. ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska granted rare access to a unit where medical staff are in the same room with the virus 24 hours a day.
So we're here on a COVID floor at AdventHealth Tampa, and we wanted to make sure when we came to do this story to talk about the treatments and everything that doctors were doing to save lives, that we weren't taking away any of their PPE. This is actually a floor that has negative pressure rooms, so all of the patients in there are breathing their own air. The virus is contained to that room, so that way hospital staff out here can work and they're safe.
Knock, knock.
Rounds for Dr. Salman Ahmed are high risk. Listen close. You hear the rush of air. That's negative pressure blowing the virus toward the patient, containing it in the room. Each nurse is stationed with a small window to a deadly world.
How's your breathing today? You doing okay?
This ritual for Dr. Ahmed never ends.
Sometimes there was a fear that I will catch COVID. You know, I may get sick, I may go home, I stay asymptomatic, and I pass it on to my family members. You know, so there were all sorts of unknowns that we were dealing with.
On this COVID floor, 24 beds are dedicated to patients. To minimize exposure, we were only allowed 20 minutes on the unit, just me and a media escort. What we saw was a mix of despair and hope. For their privacy, we can't show the patient faces, but I could see them, exhausted, appearing as shells of who they were, but holding on.
We have young patients who are getting very, very sick and going on ventilators. On the other hand, we have elderly patients who are walking out of the hospital after being treated with COVID. So there's still a lot of unknown about this disease.
We're not out of the woods of the pandemic.
We sat down with Dr. Doug Ross, the Chief Medical Officer of AdventHealth Tampa. He says lockdown orders in March bought us valuable time. Treating patients then was trial and error. But with cases surging today, he doesn't want to think what the death rate could have been.
We are curing people, there's no doubt about it, or decreasing the speed at which it takes for them to get cured, which is great. We're avoiding patients from getting on the ventilator more than before.
Doctors now using steroids, convalescent plasma from blood donations, anticoagulants, and remdesivir, one or a combo of all four to treat patients.
If you could get more of one medicine, what would it be?
Well, I would say remdesivir. If we could get more remdesivir, it would be great.
With limited supply of remdesivir, doctors have to pick and choose who gets it.
There's a bunch of studies for remdesivir, for example, so low-flow oxygen requiring patients. It seems that they act best, or they respond best to remdesivir. So it's a little bit earlier on in the disease progression. You give remdesivir.
Some of our patients are coming off the ventilator in 1 to 2 days after receiving remdesivir and convalescent plasma. So it's a blessing.
Going home is the best day of all.
We'll be thinking of you, okay? Good luck to you.
Each patient wheeled out our small emotional victories. These are a few of the many celebrations, but these survivors truly are the lucky ones, as too many families know everyone can't be saved. Hundreds of thousands of people across the globe never make it home. Until COVID infections fall in Florida, death rates will continue to rise, and time may no longer be on our side. Nurses and doctors walking into danger to turn the tide of war.
And in the end, the most important thing is pray to God that, we get rid of this menace, because we don't know how long it will take for this to go away.
So we've been the only news team to tour a COVID floor in the Bay Area with AdventHealth, and it was eye-opening just to be there and to see the dedication of doctors and nurses going into these rooms with respirators on, full masks, treating these COVID patients, and then making sure they can figure out the best treatment to save lives. In Tampa, Michael Paluska, ABC Action News.